Kaduna with this cheering news, where 5 more victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attacked by terrorists have been freed. This latest development was confirmed moments ago by Mahmoud Tukur, who has been the lead negotiator. The victims have spent more than 4 months in captivity. Among those freed is Mustafa Umar, an associate professor of medical biochemistry at the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto State. It is still unclear if ransom was paid for the release of the victims, just like those earlier released, after family members confirmed they paid at least 100 million naira to secure the release of their loved ones. With the latest release by the terrorists, the total number of freed victims is now 29 out of the 63 passengers kidnapped, with 34 others still begging for their lives.
Gwamnatin tarayya da masu hannu da shuni su taimaka ma sauran uwanmu da suka rage su taimaka ma sauran uwanmu da suka rage dan Allah dan Annabi a samu a ceto rayuwarsu saboda suna cikin wani hali.
I literally was the medical doctor on camp. I was treating the captives as well as the bandits, or I would say Boko Haram members. There wasn't medication, to be very frank with you. We had on the radio, somebody was claiming that they would bring medication whenever it was needed. There wasn't any medication on camp. I mean, we could go days. There was a day that a particular lady who had malaria. So malaria, you could treat malaria with 1,000 naira. But this lady literally was going into coma because there wasn't medication for her. I mean, there wasn't medication for her malaria.
For more on this, let's speak with TVC News' Lupe Asom, who has been following the development since the 28th of March when the Abuja-Kaduna bound train was attacked by terrorists. Lupe, after over 4 months in captivity, how exactly are the victims and their families reacting to their freedom?
Well, from the victims' accounts, we've had a sense of how difficult the experience has been for them. We also spoke to their family members who have been praying. Some of them have been crying almost every day since their loved ones were kidnapped. Recall that we have an 85-year-old grandmother back there with the terrorists. So it has been a very, very difficult time for them. We saw a couple of their family members. They have lost weight. Some of them are sick. We spoke to a 93-year-old father of one of the victims who actually went through a very, very difficult time. So it has not been the best of times for the family members of these people. And even for the victims, they narrate how harrowing it has been for them in captivity. One among those who was free today was reportedly shot in captivity, and he narrated the experience for us. It wasn't a very good one, actually. So that's how it has been. It has been a very, very difficult time for them. But one thing I must also say is that all the people who have regained their freedom so far, from our talks with them, they tell us how difficult it has been. They also narrate how sophisticated some of the weapons of these bandits are, and they call on the government to try to come in and see if they can rescue those in captivity. So for now, those who are being freed are calling on the government to please do all they can to ensure that those who are still in captivity are freed. For now, we still have 34 of them back there in the forest with the bandits.
If you listen to the accounts given there by one of the victims about the harrowing experience, talking about someone with malaria, and it was just as though, you know, heavens were going to fall. Let's talk about the process of this freedom. Have we heard exactly about how it happened? Was ransom paid before these hostages were let go?
Well, the last victim who actually who we had a long talking time with, he told us that, look, for them, they wouldn't come out to say, but some of their family members would tell us behind the scene that they actually paid money for their relatives to be freed. Some of them, they went through hard times. They had to sell some of their properties and all of that. They said, look, this thing was not free. They weren't just free as it is being portrayed in the media. They actually paid. And recall that 11 victims who were earlier freed were released on the condition that 8 children belonging to the bandits, 8 of the bandits' children were handed over to them. So those are some of the conditions that have played and led to the release of some of these victims. So I don't think it's not safe to say that they have been free. They were free without ransom being paid. Some of their family members say ransom was actually paid.
All right, let's talk about security in Kaduna. Yes, these ones have been freed, but what is the state of the dwelling place at the moment? How is security in Kaduna?
Well, you can also attest that for the past few days, we've had it quiet, but then there are fears, of course. When you hear that terrorists are being freed, that is talking those who escaped from the Kuje Correctional Facility. When you hear that those kind of people are being freed, and when you listen to some of the accounts of these freed victims telling you how sophisticated these bandits are, of course, many residents in the state are apprehensive. People are now limiting their travel. So people are generally apprehensive at the moment. But then the police authorities will tell you that, look, we are beefing up security. We are noticing police checkpoints in key places in the town. So the police are also doing their thing. And the government is also assuring that, look, we will do all it takes to actually counter these bandits and ensure that citizens can go about their normal businesses without fear.
All right, Lupi, thank you very much for this update. Lupi has some for us there in Kaduna State. As the families of the released victims in Kaduna are heaving a sigh of relief over the return of their loved ones, President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja earlier today acknowledged that Nigeria needs more international collaboration to tackle terrorism and banditry in the country. The president spoke when he received letters of credence from the Canadian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ambassador James Kingston Christoph, and Ambassador of Mexico to Nigeria, Juan Alfred Miranda Orists. President Buhari blamed the political instability in Libya for the rise of terrorism in the Sahel, as well as a threat to the sustenance of democracy in West and Central Africa regions. The president told the new diplomats that the support of their countries and other friendly countries has helped Nigeria make meaningful progress in tackling insecurity, assuring that the threat will be defeated.
Nigeria is not left out of the equation as we are fighting to rid our country of banditry, kidnapping, harder farmer crisis, and insurgency. We are, however, making meaningful progress with the support of friendly countries like yours to sustain these fights until we overcome these challenges.
We'll be back in Abuja for more stories. In the meantime, let's turn our attention to Ondo State, where about 45 suspected criminals are now cooling their heels in the custody of the State Security Corps, known as Amotekun Corps, for various offenses. 6 members of a notorious kidnap gang are among the suspects paraded by the state commander of Amotekun, Adetunji Adeleye, in Akure, the state capital. Ayodeji Moradio reports.
This appears to be another success story for operatives of Amotekun Corps in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria.
Stand easy.
45 suspects were arrested at different locations where they had made living difficult for people of the areas. 6 of them are members of a notorious kidnap syndicate who hypnotized their victims before kidnapping them in the local government area of the state. Female members of the group are used as bait to lure unsuspecting victims to the ringleader, who is a herbalist.
We have today 45 hardened criminals arrested across the 18 local governments of Ondo State. We also have a group that specializes in kidnapping. They actually kidnapped a lady in Ore, but we were able to get the victim out alive without ransom, and we were also able to apprehend the suspected kidnappers. We have this across the state.
Some armed robbers who were arrested in Ore were also paraded by Amotekun Corps. Members of the group broke into a motorbike shop and carted away brand new motorcycles. Some suspects were also paraded for alleged snatching of motorbikes and attempted murder of some victims in Obakoko. The Corps commander urged the people to join hands with security agencies to rid the state of criminals.
People using Okada to kidnap. We have cases here where they use some spiritual means to hypnotize people that they carry on their Okada and they carry them to unknown destination. We have a case of one of them that specializes in killing Okada riders, taking over their Okada, dismantling and sending out of the state. We tracked him to Ore. From Ore, we arrested 3 of his accomplices.
25 out of the 45 suspects will soon be arraigned in court. Ayodeji Moradeyo, TVC News, Akure.